Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here, Golden Opportunities Coaching, with another audio for you to check out. And this is about loneliness, misconceptions, and misunderstandings about the concept of loneliness. I think it's pretty universal. Nobody really enjoys loneliness all that much, except in really small doses. Hey, it's nice to have the moment to reflect where you miss a person once in a while. One of my mentors says, "How can I miss you if you won't go away?" And I always chuckle because it's true. If you don't have space from a person, you can't miss them. But for the most part, people who struggle with loneliness are not a fan of the emotional state. So there's about, let's see, about five different misconceptions about loneliness that I'd like to discuss here. And hopefully, if you have comments, you can comment below, like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, even tell a bully. Maybe a bully can come here and learn some stuff, make them less of a bully. Who knows? Anyway, so one thing that a lot of people think is the more people you know, the less lonely you'll be. Like, I've heard that a lot. Oh, you don't have enough friends. Oh, so there's supposedly this magic formula where if I have 17 friends, I'm not going to be lonely. Wrong. Try again. The quality of your friendships and the amount of time you put into them, and the amount of time that's put into you in return after you put time into them, is far more important than the number of friends you have. And there are folks that can know a lot of people. I came from an entertainment industry. I kid you not, probably have known over 1,000 people in my life. And I save for maybe five, six, seven of them. So less than 10 easily out of that 1,000 people I knew when I was in that industry. Uh, I can I can still contact them and pick up where I left off with the conversation. Now, these were people I saw multiple times a week. These were people that were really meaningful to me at a point. I would have called them friends. I would have called them close friends for a while. But they really weren't quality relationships because they didn't stand the test of time. A quality relationship evolves with you through the stages of your life. And so it's important to realize that having more friends doesn't mean you're less lonely, and that's a misconception a lot of people have. Another thing, too, is extroverts and introverts and ambiverts and all genders, all races, all creeds, all religions, all everything can experience loneliness. This is misconception that says, oh, if I'm extroverted and I really go out of my way to be gregarious and friendly, I'll never be lonely because someone will always want to hang out with me. Well, yes and no. Um, the more outgoing a person is, the more driven towards being extroverted they are, the more they actually crave the adrenaline rush that comes from being socially interactive. And when they can't get it, they're going to have a bigger crash than the introvert who feels lonely because they don't have enough people, but they know they can count on one or two or three really good quality people. So, in a lot of cases, the misconception that being introverted would make loneliness harder is it's harder for different reasons, but introverts and extroverts have um, different, although equally impactful, relationship challenges when it comes to loneliness. Here's another one: having kids, having a family, having a wife or husband or partner does not cure loneliness. Matter of fact, if that relationship's going really ugly, if that relationship's underfulfilled, a person can actually statistically be more lonely in a broken relationship or broken family tie than they would be if that person didn't exist at all. Matter of fact, a lot of times what happens is we use our primary emotional support source to be our partner, and when that relationship begins to falter, we haven't nurtured other relationships along the way, which leads to deeper senses of loneliness when that person that we're counting on to be our ride or die is no longer present, no longer there, no longer as involved as they once were. So, actually, believe it or not, it's extremely dangerous to engage in cloistering towards one person or one person and your kid, or kids, as it were, because when they have other things going on, you're more likely to feel the loneliness crash. Um, Loneliness can, in fact, affect your health, especially if it's prolonged. However, this is not the only thing that will affect your health. So, you can have panic attacks, you can get depressed, you can. There are people when they're lonely because they don't have somebody to, quote, perform for. They will feel more physical pain. In other words, what happens is the person is already dealing with physical pain, but it's more intense when they're lonely because it's like it becomes a fixation or a focal point. This happens a lot with arthritis. This happens a lot even with things like if a person has a lot of support during cancer or other long term severe illnesses, they are more likely to recover and have less physical pain if they have a lot of people around them. Research has shown this. So that's another factor. You can't learn your way out of loneliness, which is another thing. A lot of people think if a person has the quote right, and who knows what those are, social skills, they won't be lonely. Fact of the matter is, if you're lonely, it's because the quality and quantity of relationships you have isn't meeting your needs. It has nothing to do with whether you're social or not. Now, admittedly, a person who may be on the autism spectrum or a person who has anxiety, depression, social avoidance disorders, those type of things are just going to be more lonely for different reasons. However, teaching that person a few new social skills alone will not fix the core issue of loneliness. And then the last thing is that you need relationship diversity along the range to be able to combat loneliness at all. What that means is you have to have relationships at all different stages. You got to have a few ride or dies, and you got to have a few people you're getting to know who might become ride or dies, and you got to have a few people that you interact with in a completely nonsensical way. So, in reality, the person you interact with at the bookstore or your local Starbucks is just as important for different reasons as the best friend you've known for 10 years, because we need different level of interactive stimulation in order to feel like we're part of a global community. So, those are the 5 things or so about loneliness that are major misconceptions. If you have others, please feel free to comment below. And until next time, this is Scott Golden reminding you, you can get in touch with me on Twitter at PO Perception. You can get in touch with me here on YouTube just by dropping me a line. I encourage you to do so. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.